can drive my car. Who's gonna drive you home? Well, I'm a friendly stranger in the black sedan. I want you to hop inside my car.
All right, that's the Louie Herron Toyota drive montage. That means the auto show is on the air. Chip Lyness back in studio with Louie Herron from Louie Herron Toyota. Auto show every week at this time.
You're laughing off the air a little bit there, huh? About Louie must be the only one negotiating deals, huh?
Yeah, I could just see that. Your manager, Bill, Bob, Jane, they all come up and say, no, she's just looking. Louie's there. They're buying.
What happens is a salesperson is conditioned that if Mr. Smith is not buying today, they don't bring him inside the dealership, and the customer never gets figures. The reality is, this customer's there for information.
Yep.
If they could buy a car without you, they would. That's why the internet is so appealing and so attractive. The reality is, they have to deal with the salesperson. They have to go to a car dealership ultimately, but any customer would like to have the information and go home. Anybody would.
Yeah.
So you have the right to go home whenever you want, but don't go home without the information. I mean, otherwise it's almost a wasted trip. Go out there and get what you need. There's no commitments on your end. I will tell you also, if you're gonna take that approach and you have a spouse with you, make sure both of you guys are on the same exact page, because there'll be times where the spouses are separated for whatever reason, and the salesperson is picking up one vibe from a consumer and another one from the other spouse. Yeah. And that's not good, because then there's mixed signals. You guys want to be on the same page. Again, remember, you're negotiating on behalf of one another. Be on the same page. I think that will pay big dividends. The other thing I will tell you in negotiating is you need to be realistic. I don't know how many times I've heard my friends, family members, church members, people, teachers, folks that I sell that I know personally, all of them will say, well, Louie, we want you to make some money. Make some money. I really think in my heart of hearts, every consumer wants you to make money. They understand you got to make money. The reality is, because they don't know, and they're nervous and they're skeptical, they don't know how much you're making. They don't know if they've got everything on the table to start from. So what I would tell you is, and again, this will make dealers cringe, look, it's the salesperson's responsibility to show value in what the manufacturer suggests that the cost of the car should be. Louie Herron did not price the Toyota Camry at $22,000. Toyota did, and they priced it based on the options, features that are on that vehicle, based on the research development, based on what they had to build the car for, based on what profit margin they wanted before they wholesale it to the dealership. So it's a fair price. If you think about it, a lot of people say, "Oh, if I pay sticker, you're getting ripped off." Think about it. If you paid sticker price for a car, could you have gotten a better deal? Absolutely. However, it doesn't mean you got hosed.
Right.
I mean, the manufacturer priced the car. If a salesperson doesn't show enough value that $22,000 is a fair price for the Camry, then shame on us. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean you can't go in there and negotiate a good deal. So, obviously, if you don't want to negotiate the back and the forth and the this and the that, what you have to do is, if you're realistic, I'm telling you'll get a great deal. First of all, I would tell you is, you have so much information on the internet. I mean, you can't go buy a house and find invoice on wood. You can't find invoice on the rock. You can't find invoice on drywall. You can't find invoice on paint. I mean, you may be able to do some research to find some nuts and bolt costs of that nature, but my goodness, it would be. But so when we get a house built for us, or we go buy a house, we're not concerned what cost is on a house. We never are.
Right.
But with a car, we are concerned with what cost is. The reason why is because you can go online and find out what cost is. Now, I know a lot of people feel like, well, there's 5 invoices. There's really 3. And I'll tell you where that started from, Chip. You've got General Motors and Ford used to have the A plan, Z plan, D plan, all these different plans for employees. And there are different cost bases for those. But most of the, in fact, I don't know of an Asian import that has a plan, an invoice is invoice on an Infiniti, on a Honda, on a Kia, on a Hyundai, on a Toyota. There aren't 5 invoices. On Ford, and on Chevy, there's GMS plan and so on and so forth. But that is exclusive to employees. There's still an actual invoice on a car that is published on the internet. You can get it at KBB, theautoschool.com. You can get it at Edmunds.com. I mean, they're out there. Now, with that said, I would tell everybody, when you're doing your research, and let's say you want to negotiate a deal, even if you see value, that you think a Camry is worth $22,000, okay, great. But you found out that invoice is $20,000. And remember, I'm telling you guys this, and you can check me on this, there's 4 to 6% markup in almost every automobile. When you get into Highline, it goes to 6 to 8%. Some of them have maybe close to 10%, but you're talking big dog cars. You're not talking the everyday car that we buy. So when people go in and go wanting to say, hey, I want $4,000 off sticker, it's not there. Now, there could be some incentives and rebates to help assist with that, but traditionally, you find a $22,000 car, invoice is going to be $20,000, give or take. I'm just throwing those numbers out. So if that's the truth, and I'm telling you, you can verify, go look it up on your own. If that's the truth, you don't want to go in and offer a dealer $21,000, or excuse me, you don't want to offer a dealer at $17,000, because what you're creating is now you're fighting back up, and you're creating that thing, that the very same thing that you hate. If you go in there and say, look, I know your car lists for 22 grand. It's a great car. I love all the features, the Intune, the navigation, the seats, the power seats. You get the leather interior, the sunroof, the ground effects, the LCD running lights. I love all of that. I understand it's 22 grand. I don't want to pay that though. Okay. I get it. Okay. I know that the invoice on the $22,000 car is 20 grand. I'll offer you $500 over invoice. I'm telling you right now, every dealership in the country will take that deal.
I got you.
They'll take that deal. Okay, will they not want to come back at $1,000 over? Sure, but here's what I want you to realize. If you're realistic, give the dealer a little room, a little margin, okay? And then base your budget off that. Otherwise, what you're going to create is that back and forth that you hate, the uncertainty if I've got a better deal elsewhere. Here's what I want you to realize. The car business is one of the rare businesses that I know. Maybe the furniture business that's very, 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 very cutthroat. Maybe the mortgage business. You know, a quarter point here, you shop someone else, they give you a quarter point less. Listen, when you get into that and you shop another dealer and you hate shopping, if you're at home on the internet doing your research, you shouldn't have to go to 4 dealerships.
I see.
You can get 3 or 4 prices from 3 or 4 dealers, and those are great starting points.
Yep.
On the internet, you're not going to find an inflated price. You're going to find a very, very competitive, good price that gives the dealer a little margin, okay? So if you go to a store and you've done the research and you can say to yourself, I like that car. I know it's 22 grand. I know $20,000 is invoice. I'll pay $20,500 for that car, and I'll feel good about that. Honestly, if you could buy that car for $20,100 down the street, but it's not your local dealer, you don't have a relationship, really for $300 or $400, I don't want to diminish this. That's not a lot of money. $300 or $400 in this day and time is a lot of money. At the same time, your time, your effort, and who you're doing business with, if you know you're getting a solid deal and the dealer's willing to do that, and you say, look, watch me, car people, I am leaving, okay? I've done my research. I feel good. I've spent an hour and 10 minutes with you. I know what invoice is. I know what the sticker is. I love the car. I'm giving you a $500 price. I think that's fair. I'm leaving if you don't do that. I'm telling you, it's a quick negotiation.
I got you.
It's quick. You're not going to go back. Now, based on the car you selected, for example, Toyota's got a brand new truck come out. It's a 1794 edition. It's kind of like a King Ranch. Very, very nice. Very, 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 very small supply. Can you come in and buy that truck, the Mac Daddy truck, or the Ford F-250, 7.3? And get that truck for $500 over invoice when the dealership's only getting 1 a month? No, you're probably not, because it's a supply and demand. The economy is in the free enterprise is dictating the price of that. But when you're talking about a Corolla, and you've got 17 Corollas on the ground, and they got 20 more coming, come on now, that's a no-brainer deal. So these are the things that I'm sharing with you in negotiating. It's not that hard. You don't have to have anxiety about it. Am I buying a fast-moving car or a slow-moving car? Am I buying something that nobody else has? And the funniest thing in the world that I never understood is everybody will brag about how much they paid for their house and how much little they paid for their car. Is that not weird? They'll tell you, I paid $1 million for my house and I stole that car. It's like, and so I think the paradigm of people saying, look, I'm not looking, I'm ready to buy something. If you guys get right with me, I'll spend some time with you. I want your best price, your bottom line, your best rate, your best payment. I'm ready to do business with you guys if you get right. If you don't get right, I'm not buying today. But I'm prepared to. Now, whether you make that decision is solely on you. You may find something and it's better than you thought and it may be a great deal, but if you do a little research, you're realistic, you mirror that up, you've gotten what you need. You tell the salesperson, basically, do your job, is what you're saying. When I say I'm just looking, I'm giving you permission to be lazy, okay, because it's human nature. But when I say I'm buying, I have now turned you on to do your job. Show me what I need to know about this car. Why should I buy this automobile from this place, from this brand? I'm shopping Hyundai, I'm shopping Toyota, I'm shopping Nissan. Why you? Why now? I'm telling you guys, if you look at that, it'll give you a great opportunity to do business.
All right, very good, Louie. We are coming back. It's Chip and Louie, the auto show, giving you tips on negotiating, saving you some money when you go into the next car dealer to buy your car. All right, more with Chip and Louie next. Doc 103.9.